Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for tuning in for another episode of Hello Fort Wayne. And as you now know, my name is Will Beeman, your host, and we had to miss last month due to some scheduling issues, but I wanted to make sure we dropped in one more time before our studio shuts down for the holiday break. And I want to talk briefly on this episode to speak a little bit about the holiday season and film. We're currently celebrating the 20th anniversary of the film Elf, and I saw Elf opening weekend with my mom, and I watch it like 10 times a year. Around this time of year, my Letterboxd profile stats for my most watched films are skewed because it's just Christmas films and the Star Wars films, because I watch them so many times within a short span of the year. I think I'm already on my fourth viewing of Christmas Vacation. But I think Elf might be the last Christmas film we've gotten that's become a cultural juggernaut. Polar Express came out the year after, but that movie's conversation always seems to be more around how uncanny the animation is rather than it being a classic, even though we did get a fantastic Josh Groban song out of it. And I know we get new holiday films every year, and some of them are actually pretty good. Klaus on Netflix is great, but Netflix films are a drop in the bucket, and they have no holding power in pop culture. 8-Bit Christmas, The Grinch remake, Violent Night, Krampus, The Night Before, Office Christmas Party, even Guardians of the Galaxy had a Christmas special, but none of these really grabbed pop culture and became ingrained into it. There's also many, many bad Christmas films that release too. But are we to the point where we won't get another timeless Christmas classic film? And maybe there's one I'm forgetting about, but the films I watch every year and the ones the TV networks have been playing on repeat are mostly the same as my own rotation. So I don't know. This isn't really a pressing need in Hollywood, especially with the strikes needing ratifying and creative artists continuing to get their projects greenlit. But I think when a Christmas film really hits and it becomes a classic, there's just a feeling you get when you watch it that captures that feeling of waking up on Christmas morning as a child and opening gifts, the music, the movies, dinner with your family. And I know not everyone likes the holidays for very valid reasons. There could be trauma, loss, growing up less fortunate, or the over-commercializing of it. I mean, that's happened to everything though, but I do get it. But for me, who grew up in a typical Midwestern home, I don't remember what I got for Christmas every year, but it's the memories of the holiday, the cookies my mom makes, or the breakfast casserole we have every year, or the from-scratch cinnamon rolls, the house is decked out in lights, the Santa downtown Fort Wayne, my family hanging out at my grandma's all day, everyone just enjoying each other's company, having fun, just the nostalgia of all that. It really captures what the Christmas spirit to me is and why I love this time of year so much. And I feel like the movies we are getting just really aren't quite nailing that for me yet. So that's kind of my rant for the month. I just hope we get that next generational Christmas film that's going to go on to outlive all of us, and that Elf isn't the last one we get to do that. So now we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got an interview with the new shop owner of a board game store opening soon in Fort Wayne, so stick around. All right, welcome back from the break for the interview portion of the show, and I am very delighted to have our guest today, Reith Layman, the co-founder of Roundtable Games, and I knew I was going to butcher it again. It's Curt's Cafe. Curt's Cafe, a new board game shop that's going to be opening in the city of Fort Wayne soon. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me so much.
So why don't you kind of tell us about the journey that brought to this store becoming a reality? Because I've read in some articles that you've done already that this has kind of been a life goal of yours. So
yeah,
why don't you explain a little bit about that?
So the store itself hasn't been in development for very long. We've only been seriously considering the store for about a year now. We still haven't reached the year mark. But before I was even born, my father, my mother, and then my uncle Curt, where we get the name from, they had this dream to start their own board game store just because gaming has been in the family, like it's just a part of the family. So they really wanted to get it started, but when the time came to actually stop your real job, your day job, to follow your passion, my uncle was very nervous about it, and it didn't end up taking off. So now that we're here and we have the gumption and the location, and I had the drive to kind of bring these two together, it really was easy to combine the two ideas, since coffee and games, they're very close to each other, I feel like, in the communities anyways.
So what made you think that now was the time to open the store, though? Like, do you feel like there's a need in Fort Wayne for this kind of thing, or what brought this to be the decision
Sure.
that now's the time?
I definitely think there's a market for it here in Fort Wayne now. I mean, with the pandemic and everything, we've kind of lost a lot of our entertainment stores, like board game wise, I would say. We have a few here in town still that have been around for a while, but there's not really a location where you can just go to kind of hang out. They're more retail locations, but we want to provide a space where people can come and play games by themselves with their friends, family, or just come in and sit down at a table of strangers and learn how to play the game. And I feel like there's not really a place to do that here in town. And everybody that I've brought this idea to has told me what a wonderful idea it is and how excited they are to have some place to go and hang out. And so it really sounds like that a lot of people are excited for this place and they really want us to open.
Right, and that's what drew me to the idea too, personally, is the aspect of building around the community and bringing
Sure.
the community in. So what kind of things do you have in mind for the board gaming community in general, besides having a place to go play a game? Are you going to be doing theme nights or certain game nights or anything like that? Or
Yeah,
what kind of plans do you have for that?
absolutely. We're going to do kind of any and everything we think of, anything to bring people in. We will be hosting your Friday night magics, and as new games are released, or if maybe there's a game that we personally really like, we'll upsell it and we'll put it out on demo, and we'll have tables open for people to come sit down and play. But we'll also have your weekly gatherings, we'll have Dungeons and Dragons nights, we'll have Pokemon nights, Warhammer nights. We're trying to cater to everybody. So if there's an event that you want to see, hopefully we'll also be doing it.
And for people that want to learn how to play some of these games, has the idea been tossed around of maybe hosting workshops where you have somebody that's super into this game, knows the ins and outs, to kind of just teach a community of how to play things? Because I've wanted to get into Warhammer for a long time, but I have no idea where to start.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the goal. I mean, one of my uncle's huge passions was getting new players involved in anything. And so we would really like to be a place where it's easy for new players to come in and be like, hey, I would like to learn how to play this. And then if one of our staff is available, we want to then be like, okay, here, go sit down with this person and learn. But if we don't ever have enough staff, we want to be able to set up times where that person is comfortable to come in, and we could have a session where we teach them how to play these games, or just about the game itself. Yeah, we want to be able to provide that for people.
So what would you consider to be kind of the range of the most popular games that people could see? Besides the Magics, the D&Ds,
Sure.
the Pokemons, what else is there besides that maybe someone's heard about? So
Game specifics?
Yeah.
One recommended to us recently is HeroClix. And then I don't remember what the other one was called, but it's another TCG game that was really popular. I don't have the name off the top of my head, but another game that I'm really excited that we're going to have is Wingspan. I know it's kind of an older one, but people are still on the lookout for it, and hopefully we'll also hold the Munchkins, your main ones.
Right. Yeah. HeroClix is an awesome one to start hosting, because I used to be pretty active with that game back in the day, and then once my friends moved away that I played with, they just you can't really play that one by yourself. So that's awesome to hear that. What are some of the games that or events that you have planned that would be coming soon with an opening that you're excited to tell people about?
I think right off the bat, we're going to be able to do our Magic Nights as well as Pokemon. There was a game release coming out soon that we're hopefully hopefully going to partner with. I'm not going to say the board game name just in case because I don't know how all that works. But if we do end up being able to partner with this event, it's going to be the store-wide event. So we'll have themed coffees for it, and we'll probably have discounts on certain products. And it's going to be most likely a weekend long or a week long just to kind of get the word out and, hey, we're open. There's this thing to come check out. So be on the lookout for that.
So on the cafe side of things,
Yeah.
Is that kind of just introducing this menu so people can enjoy stuff while they game, or is that going to be kind of its own focused idea as well? So is there going to be cafe-centric events or anything like that, or does that go hand in hand with the board game portion?
It's sort of separate in its own way. So there won't be necessarily huge events for the cafe itself. We'll probably have most of them on the board game side just because there's more events to do. But the cafe side is hopefully going to be its own operating coffee shop. So even if gaming's not your thing, you can still come in and get any coffee pastry you would at any normal place. But of course, we'll still have events and features to show off there as well.
So what's the one thing that you're the most excited about with the store and the cafe opening?
I'm excited to see the store full. I'm really just excited to have everybody there in the store itself and just talking with people, hanging out. I really love just the community groups of just events around town and seeing everybody in town coming together to one place. I'm really excited to see everyone actually full in the store and having a good time.
Do you guys have a firm opening date yet?
Not a firm.
Are you in the building now, though, and putting things together?
Yes,
okay.
We are. As of a couple of weeks ago, we started our build out. We're only a few weeks away, though, from getting inside and finishing at least the game side. So that'll be open before the end of the year for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to do a New Year's Eve event?
Most likely.
Yeah?
I
Okay.
mean, with the holidays, it would be a little
Right.
silly not to. Yeah, we probably will.
Okay, cool. So what's something about the store or the gaming community, maybe in Fort Wayne, that maybe you just want someone to know that they wouldn't really know just off the top of their heads?
Sure. I own it and I'm only 21. It's going to be a woman-owned store. That's not very common here in town. Definitely scares a lot of people. Not a lot of new people when they don't know the ownership or who all is going to be in the store itself, but it's going to be a clean, nice environment for anybody to come in. We have the idea of if you're a parent and you don't know what gaming is or anything like that, you can bring in your child and for events, or they can sit down and game, and then you have the space to disconnect and go enjoy some coffee. It really is just kind of an exciting idea altogether. There's not one thing that sticks out, though, that we haven't already kind of broadcasted to people. We're all really excited about it.
Yeah, and I get one more question that I had come up is say I wanted to play a board game with maybe some people that are just there,
Yeah.
but I have it at home already. Can you bring your own board game in, or
Absolutely.
do you have to use those demos?
You don't have to use our games at all. We will have an open library for you for people to just come in and grab if they don't have the game or one looked interesting, but it's not limited to those. If you and a group of friends, or if you just by yourself wanted to come in and play a game, you're more than welcome to bring in your own games, your own group of people. The space is yours, and we just want to be able to provide that for you.
Okay. That'll give me a good reason to dust the Gloomhaven off my shelf.
That is a great one. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, it's just sat there for a while. I can never find enough people to fill
Sure.
my party out, but
Gloomhaven's
I'll
a
be able
toughie.
to now.
You
So
will.
yeah. But that's really all I had. So thank you again so much for sitting
Absolutely.
down, getting the word out. This sounds like an awesome store.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for it as well. But yeah, so that's going to do it for this episode of Hello Fort Wayne. I'm your host, Will Beeman, and we will see you next month after the new year, and have a great holidays.